So getting into Moonlit Fantasy Season 2, I honestly want to talk about the build-up when it comes to Season 2, because one of the complaints that I've seen is that Core 1 was quite slow, Core 2 has definitely been hinting at some things, and it feels like we're really building up to this really massive climax, which is, of course, Season 2 is going to be 25 episodes, and we're on episode 16 now, if I got my numbers right. And that's the thing, you've got 9 episodes or so left, which shows that there's still a bit left of this sort of meal, but it's really building up to something epic. And even with the first core, I don't think it was boring. I definitely enjoyed the character building, the world building, and all the politics and the economics and all the connivingness that's going on. Contrary to what some people claim, that I'm not into politics, I do enjoy all the world building and politics and all the crazy stuff going on. But it's building up to something much more bigger and grander. Though, I will note, with Season 1, it had a lot of stuff in the opening song that never really sort of felt like it came to fruition. So I've kind of always been skeptical of the opening songs for Moonlit Fantasy, because I feel like they kind of advertise something that never really quite happens. It's kind of like they're teasing something really far on or something. I don't know. I'd love to know other people's thoughts on that, but at least what they're showing in the opening song is a big epic fight, and it's what it's been also hinting at throughout these episodes. There's this big confrontation that the main protagonist is kind of being backed into a wall where he can't work with the humans, and he can't even work with the demons to a point either, and that maybe he has to carve out his own sort of empire or his own place. I would say empire would be the best, or civilization or country or whatever you want to call it, little bit of land, and use that as a foothold to allow himself to enter into the world itself. And it could be a good bridge, like if he takes over like a piece of land, rebuilds it, and that's kind of what's been hinted at with these 2 other girls that want to reclaim their land, that he might take that, this is what I'm spitballing, that he might take that land back, rebuild it, and allow it to be a neutral hub for humans and demi-humans and demons and stuff, and then use the portal as a way of, like, you have like a trade outpost, that is your trade outpost, but the hidden mist world is kind of shrouded behind that. So it's like a front. That bit of land is the front of being like, yeah, this is where we do all our trading, our agriculture and all that kind of stuff. But you've got the Mistland as well backed behind it, which makes them a really powerful entity. That's at least how I'm seeing what they're possibly leading to. If I'm wrong, hey, it keeps the surprise going. But I really like where the potential of the story is going, and especially at the fact that they're kind of hinting that there's going to be a big fight where he's going to burn down a city, possibly, or someone else does it, I don't know. Something's going to happen, and it's building up to something, and clearly the humans are not as willing to work and cooperate as it seems, and I think there's going to be a big fight as well between the heroes. Something big is building up, and that's what I love about Moonlit Fantasy. There's so much stuff going on, but you kind of are able to keep up with it all as well. It doesn't feel overwhelming. I just love the story, and I have been reading the light novels as well, and boy oh boy oh boy do I have some things to say about even the first volume, which, by the way, blows my mind, because it's stuff that's already been covered, but I have a lot of things to say about the light novels, and I'm not even fully through it yet. I'm like 1/3 the way through, and there's a lot to talk about, but I'm not going to spoil that in this video, so keep an eye out for that video to come in the coming week or so. But with the anime, I'm just so intrigued to see where it goes, because it's like, hypothetically, if he does turn against the humans and he's kind of carving out his own little space where he can kind of have his own people and work together and trade, and maybe then he can work with some humans that are more willing to be cooperative and some demons that are willing to be more cooperative as well. Who's going to join him from the human side? I think the kids that he's training, I definitely think would be willing to join him and would be willing to turn against the academy, especially seeing as the corruption in that academy is just ridiculous, and those kids seem to really look up to him and see the potential of where they can go. It doesn't feel overwhelming. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of things going on, there's a lot of twisting little pieces, jigsaw puzzles, but none of it feels overwhelming. I just get excited at the end of every episode. My only complaint is it feels like every episode is very short. I feel like I've watched an episode and I feel like I've just spent like 5 minutes instead of 25 minutes in an episode. It feels very much like a Like, it goes fast very quickly, which is a good thing because it means you're enjoying the episodes. But I also think Moonlit Fantasy is kind of one of those that's gone under the radar. Not as many people are talking about Moonlit Fantasy, and I think a lot of that's just to do with the fact that a lot of people see it as a generic copy-paste isekai, which I don't see as the case. But I think also, I think it's a good thing that it's not as super popular, even though it, you know, could do better on the views, and it's nice to have an audience that's kind of just there to discuss about the anime and not have outside influence drama always impacting like other series that are going on. Having this little community has been fun, and discussing about some of the things that are going on. And now that we have the light novel translations, that's going to add some interesting discussion to anime versus light novel and some of the things missing or some of the context. But just where this story could go, very intriguing, especially at the fact that the goddess is clearly manipulating, pulling pieces of the strings, and him, again, he's trying to work with the humans, but the humans are so corrupt, so bent out of shape, and even the chick that's kind of got that hero that she's kind of manipulating, even she's just like, you know, she doesn't want to put him on a bad side, but I think she's going to be backed into a corner as well, where that hero is just going to become psychotic, and she won't be able to control him, that he's going to end up causing a confrontation as well, and it's just going to be an all-outright brawl, and that's where it's just going to be more entertainment for the goddess than anything. Where that goes, the potential is limitless. But I also do wonder if he's going to end up being able to work with the demons, because it already feels like some betrayal has already happened, and is he going to be willing to work with them if this other individual chick is being like really playing dirty, or will he remove her and then work with the humans, demons on the other side as well? Like, there's clearly other factions to humans, other factions to demons, and there's also that Japanese group as well that's got their culture very heavily influenced based on the heroes from the other world. I'm very curious about them. Maybe he might work with those humans because they seem more willing to work with him, and that's something that happened in the previous episode that I feel like is going to be delved into later, is them being like, hey, you know, our language is built on the heroes, the culture, but he doesn't really want to come forward of being a transported person to them. So I think at some point maybe he will then work with them because they'll be more willing to cooperate, and that's where if he has that little carved out piece of land for himself, he'll be able to use that as a foothold to work with other groups of entities. The amount of possibilities are endless of where the story could go. Could go either or either direction. So I'd love to ask the question off to you. Have you been enjoying Moonlit Fantasy? What do you think of the episodes so far? Really looking forward to reading more of the light novels to see the difference between the anime and the light novel, and some of the differences and what's maybe cut out, and where this big climax is going to go. What is this big fight going to look like? Who's going to be on whose side? Who's got what objectives? All of that I'm super looking forward to, and I, again, would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. So if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.